Welcome back to the Financial Logistician. I am your host, All Nighter Hider. And this morning, as it's like 1 o'clock, no, it's 1:30 in the morning now. It's 1:30 in the morning because I am All Nighter Hider. What is sleep? Who needs it? I went back today and I watched Simon the Uneducated Economist video. As many of you know, he's my great buddy, my brother from another mother. He needs to meet my mom. I've met his mom. I've met both his parents. We need to, anyways. He's my great buddy, and I've been wanting to make a series, kind of piggybacking off his success. And I've wanted to call it Simon Says. So here we go. Simon Says, episode 1. He did a video yesterday now, technically. Shoot, I should have written the title down. I took notes, but I didn't take notes on the title. If you build it, they will steal it, I think was the title. It was a members-only video, but he usually makes those public after half a day or something like that. He starts off talking about affordable housing. And as many of you know, affordable housing is a big issue right now. The metrics are skewed, but if you look at the metrics, they look pretty bad. He's talking about kit homes. Years and years ago, Sears actually was famous for selling kit homes. These were pre-manufactured homes where all the studs, all the wood was cut to length, all the screws were provided. He says even right down to the doorknobs. Everything was provided. Think of IKEA furniture scaled up to a house with a little bit more quality. I'm assuming Sears had quality back then. This was in the 20s and 30s, I believe. So San Luis Obispo here in California, Clownifornia, to many of us here, affectionately known as, they are re-implementing a program similar to this. I haven't read the article that he linked, which if I remember, I'll link it in the description down below, as well as his video, the original video inspiring this series. Well, inspiring this video in the series. He talks about, Simon Says, excuse me, low-income individuals can use sweat equity as down payments on their homes. So now I believe he's talking about these kit homes. I believe they're implementing something similar to this. I don't know if they're implementing kit homes, but something similar to where they can use sweat equity as down payment on these homes. Now this brings up, in my head, this is just my interpretation of what he says, brings up in my head, well, before I do that, let's get to the next bullet point. Simon brings up defaults. What's going to happen in the event of a default? Now is where my interpretation kicks in. I'm looking at these values. Who's going to value these values? They're obviously subjective. So you've got the guy, the builder, who busted their balls, blood, sweat, and tears into this project. They have this mental attachment. They have this bonding with this building. I know how it goes. You build something, it's yours. Even though I build for other people, it's still my baby until I hand it off to them. And really it should be, because I have to take full responsibility for what I'm building. I'm not just going to build crap for... Trust me, I hate people, but I'm not going to build crap for them. I hate them with love. So in the event of a default, who is going to subjectively look at this? Look at the equity. On one hand, you have we'll say the bank, the loan originator, or whoever's holding the note. They're going to question the quality of the build. I can guarantee you. You got Jimmy Yahoo building something. Yeah, he's fine living in it, but is everybody else fine living in it? So the quality of the build, what's gonna be their qualifications? There's always going to be some hoops to jump through. Then looking at it from the builder's standpoint, they're looking at, like I have already talked about. They have their sweat equity in there. They have this mental bond with this place. They have, I think I mentioned it in previous comments, that oftentimes this building, my tiny house, I'll take for example, I built this tiny house. I built it like I'm going to live in it. Although I did cut some corners because I didn't actually intend to live in it at first. So I do need to fix the floor. I need to fix the floor. It's 12 feet wide. I have 4x6 at either end and 2x6 in the middle. They're 1 foot on center, but they are sagging. The deflection is probably in, let's see, 3.5 inches wide times 2, 7. So you got 11'5". Within an 11'5" span, I've probably got 1.25 inches deflection. Maybe not that severe. 3/4 to 1.25 inches. I'm going to say 1 inch average, maybe. I need to fix it. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is what Simon Says. So getting back to what I was saying about what Simon Says, I put my efforts into this thing, and I built it to my standards. My standards. My standards happen to be very high, but who's to say they are or aren't? Right? So it's going to be very subjective, is the point I'm getting at. The values. He then goes on to talk about the math. This I'm going to summarize pretty quick. Talks about the affordability issue of a high down payment versus a high interest payment. So if you have a high interest payment, then generally the thing to do is to put down a higher down payment to then cut down on the principal, so you're paying a higher interest on less principal. If that makes any sense to everybody. Couple that, or put that on top of juggling a career and the build. So the career being your income stream, say if you're working 40 hours a week, and then you got to go home and build a house. Say another 40 hours, he was saying. It could be 30, it could be 20, whatever, but there's still a balance, right? You got to balance that time and that effort. Couple that with the side of the ability to build, like we talked about earlier. The ability being the knowledge to know how to do it. Because not everybody knows these skills. And then the physical ability to do so. Not everybody has the physical ability to do so. And actually, I would include financial ability. So all those things on top of having a place to live at the same time. I'll even add that wasn't in the notes. Get it extra. So house hacking is the thing to do. So you jump into a property and live in it and fix it up as you live in it. But if you are building something from scratch, say a kit home, I don't know if those are a thing anymore, but if you want to build your own home, you need something to live in the meantime. If you do have a family, a tent may not be the best solution. A trailer may not be the best solution. Renting something out may be the best solution, but may not be financially viable. So all these things need to be in balance. It's crazy. Oh yeah. Then he goes on to specialization. I scribbled my notes. These are garbage. Very difficult to read. Yeah, Neil, if you watch this, your comment was funny. Yeah, even my notes are hard to read though. We were talking about in Simon's video how he wrote a comment that was all gibberish, right? But it was readable. It was understandable, because I think the way that our brains usually work is we see the first, left to right, the first letter and the last letter, and we kind of fill in the blanks in between, the fuzzies, I'll call them. They're not blanks, the fuzzies in between. We don't really look at the letters in between, and we just kind of see the length, and we use the context of what we've reasonably denoted before. Since we're not actually looking at each letter, we're kind of reasonably denoting what we're seeing. So then we use all that context to read. It's pretty interesting, because we don't look at each letter. Pretty interesting. But I almost need each letter in these scribbled chicken scratch crap. Specialization. He goes into specialization. He talks about why not just get a second job to pay for the house. Because of the unique position to be successful. Yeah, why not get a second job and let the job pay for the house? Because of the unique position to be successful. Yeah, so then he talks about needing that knowledge, the ability, the financial ability, the physical ability, all these things, they all have to align. Everything's got to fall into place. And that kind of brought me to the thought of setting a door. I've talked about this quite a few times, and it's really not that hard to set a door. It's really not. I mean, I'm making it out to be something crazy, but it's really not. But the principle remains. On a door, there's 4 corners. And if you touch one corner, you're going to move the other 3. So that's what I mean about everything being in balance. And if you, it's not just whack-a-mole, it's whack-a-mole squared, cubed. If you touch one corner, the other 3 will move. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to move out of where they need to be, out of alignment, but they will move. They will react. So there is no solutions, like Thomas Sowell likes to say. There's only alternatives. Yeah. And it's now almost 1:40. Yeah, I'm going to call it at that. Simon Says. This is going to be episode 1. I'm not going to upload it right now because nobody's going to watch it at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3, whenever it uploads, because my uploads take a while. I'll upload it in the morning at some point, afternoon, whenever. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to making plenty more of these. Simon makes a lot of content, pretty much daily live streams. So there's plenty of content for me to intake, to consume, and to think about, and to regurgitate to you with my thoughts included. So, Simon Says, episode 1. This is going to be the conclusion. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. I will be perfecting this. The notes definitely helped. Going off the top of my head is a bit of an art form that I haven't perfected yet. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Plenty more to come. Invest accordingly.